what are the main differences between orthogonal emplacement and vertical emplacement. But I will look. Maybe in the chat room somebody knows. Somebody asking what's new in 2012 placement in a project. Yes, that's very good news in 2012 that we can place this in the project. What else about these points? This was, you can have a name also. So this is the, to my knowledge, the main features of the adaptive points in the generic model environment. You have now another template to make adaptive components. It is a curtain panel. You can see it here. The family is curtain panel, but it's an adaptive one with here adaptive points. Those points can be moved vertically, but they are linked to the grid. And between those points you have a reference line. I think that it can't be deleted. You have always this reference line here. So the most basic panel you can do is to select the reference line and make a form. You have the choice between a volume and a surface. If you select surface, you have this. I see you. I don't know if about orthogonal option. I don't know if a spacebar will do something. Maybe where it is. Could check rapidly orthogonal placement. That's the behavior here. When I hit space, it moves, but it's only the only behavior I have. If I no, nothing. So back in the panel. So these are the adaptive points of this simple panel that I made before. And if you load it in the project, you have now a curtain panel that is lit with 4 adaptive points and that you can place with 4 clicks in the project as I made before. And you have here a surface in your project, and as it was placed on the face, you can pick a new host with this and make some special shapes, surface. And if you make a new one placed on a work plane, let's say you have to set a work plane here, and I make a new one. Maybe it won't work. Yes, okay. Sorry. Okay, here you get a surface on the work plane, but I think you can, okay, you can have the gizmo to twist the shape in the way you want and move every point. So it's very useful, I guess, to simulate some tissues and so on your project. It's very simple. You can add, of course, material to this surface. kind of use you can find to those very simple curtain panel. And you can do, of course, advanced curtain panel, but maybe it's not the purpose tonight. Let's see in the chat room what people are saying. Shade structure. Okay, I go. So I hope you have the very basic behavior of adaptive components now. I just check my notes to see if I forget something. Another thing you have to have in mind with adaptive components is the fact that it's almost the case you should nest a component into another to get a family that is something nice in the project. It's difficult to make a single component to be placed with some interest in the project, except for this kind of dummy thing, etc. But if you want to make something like this railing that is an adaptive component, you have to nest the families and mixed both generic models and curtain panel. So I wanted to show you how to make this simple family, and I have to credit Raoul Shah from UK, who posted this kind of family in his blog few days or few weeks ago. I downloaded the family and start looking at it. I guess I have this here. This was the family that was posted on the forum. I guess the blog is Revit in English, if I remember well. Maybe you know this this blog. Okay. So if I load when I download this family and try to play around with it, I load it in a project and start to play with it. Sorry. Here it is. So you can see it's an adaptive component. I will place it on face with some points here, but it didn't work because if I select a work plane, and the work plane will be level 0. Now it works. So I thought something was broken or maybe not working well, and looking at it, it was a property of the placement point that should not be host reference but vertical placement. If you check this in the project and I try to place it another time on the stairs, now it should work. Now it works. You can see the difference between when a point is driven by host or vertical placement. Sometimes the family won't make the type, it will just crash. So you have to be careful with the behavior of the adaptive points. So seeing that, I wanted to go a bit further and make a fully parametric railing for this kind of stair, just to show you something tonight. So I will maybe check this family and explain to you how to get this kind of stuff. It won't last too long, but I will do it maybe a bit fast, too much fast for you to understand all the concept, but you can always watch the video later. So just erase this and let's start from a blank file. So what I need is 6 points to place this railing, because if you check on the stairs, I have 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 points. Where is it? We'll close some. Here it is. So I will make those 6 points adaptive and take care of the maybe of the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, great. And now I will need to place on each point this part that name is in English it's adaptive post. It's a family that I get from Raoul. I will show this. Okay, so it's a nested family. It's a generic model, adaptive post, and I will place it. I think I forgot something. Just make you I'll just show you how this post is done. Very simple post. 2 points, a reference line, a profile, and a solid. So I need 2 points. So what I forgot in this mockup is to place standard points on. So here I pick, here pick. So select the plane, up, select the plane, and select that one. Okay, and I will select all the references points, make an offset here. And this offset could be driven by a parameter, so it will adjust in the project environment. And now I have 2 points, and I can now put my adaptive post, selecting one point, and the other one. And we'll check chain. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so if I take this, it moves accordingly to the placement point, so that's great. Each one of them has a parameter that is post radius that could be driven by another post radius parameter. And I will also use this to connect, and now it could be smart to make chain. So in a few clicks you will place the railing. So if now I move this point, it flexes accordingly. You agree with me? And those elements, we'll pick them here. Could be this post radius could be top rail radius driven by another parameter, so you can have the control of the top rail radius and the post radius. So here is the first mockup. Now I will need to make the grid between the posts, if you can see in the project here. And for this, I will close this one. And that one too. I will use an adaptive curtain panel that is here, called rail structure. All this I want really to make credits to Raoul Shah, who gave those elements to make this mockup. So those rails are, I will edit the family to show you how it is made. It's simply a template of curtain panels, adaptive curtain panels, with, adaptive post, here again. So you have this small generic model nested in a curtain panel family, nested again in another family. So close this. I will take and place it here, here, 4 points. And now I have this, and I will do it again on this. I did something wrong here. That was. You should be very careful at the placement. You should hit, don't know if you can see, but only the point with a little circle and a cross to be sure that it flexes correctly in the project. This, you can see the little square is not the right place. You can use maybe tab. Sometimes it's not that easy to find and get it. Oops. Maybe I will use wireframe. Okay, more simple wireframe mode. Make something wrong. Do it again. Okay. So I will do this. Crap. So let me try to handle this. Not that easy to. Okay, yeah, it's good. Doesn't work always the first place. This is good. Last one. Crap, it's not. So you can see live that it's not always easy to place another adaptive component in a family. Here we go. So we have the railing that is adaptive, and those structures are curtain panel adaptive ones. And you can add a label to change it in the project. So I will float this because I don't want to disturb what's in the project. So I will do a new instance of this one, place it here. So I let the choice on place on face, and I just hit here. I have 6 clicks to make, and it should work fine. So you can see that Revit is computing a little because sometimes adaptive components are hard with the hardware. So maybe I will check in the chat room if it's clear for you. Is that okay for everyone? Is that clear enough that you can get the main points of what I've shown? So I go on. So once in the project, if you have another adaptive component, curtain panel family, you can change the type and edit the panel and make something like this, if you like, or another one could be something with a, it won't be very fancy, but just to show the possibilities you have to make some strange and bizarre railings in your project, because the only limit is maybe your imagination with this kind of stuff. This one is okay. It's another one. I just changed panel. If you can see here is it's an adaptive curtain panel. What I show you now, just oh, Carl, sorry for what? Any thoughts on how to get the panel maximum size before? Direction, yes, because when you have a model, it has a parameter in the project that is named flip, and it works. I will check this coming, but I guess you can. I don't know if you have access to this in the. Yes, you can flip. So if I make, if I change the type with something that has a volume, just this one. It's not always on the same side, but if you edit the family, I will check that each panel has a flip parameter so that it will change of size, and this parameter, I think, okay, let's see how is it working in the project environment. So now I think by type, yes, here you can see that I can flip this one. So you have to maybe to get a little more deeper with this, but each component has this flip behavior. So you can flex a lot these things, I guess. So we change the type to make it maybe fancy. So I like this one. Now I want to show you, just before the end of the presentation, some of the particular behavior in the family environment. Or maybe I will show you just a very small adaptive trust. Maybe you've seen this on the forum. I just want to show you now. It's a place to show you this. You can make some elements to, okay, here it is, to simulate some trusses, for example, and if it's done, it will flex with the column, but you also have the ability to pick a new host. Maybe here it's too small, but the bad point with adaptive components, I wanted to say that earlier, but I will go on with this now, is that you have a limitation in the categories. If you can see the list here, you can't do a framing family with adaptive components. You can only make what's on this list. So most of the time I work with generic models, also site specialty equipments, but you can make windows, doors, and so on. So maybe it's enough for you, but I know that structural structural guys and girls would like to have a framing family, a beam family, and so on. So I wanted to show some behavior in the family environment. I will close this one. What is open? Nothing else. I will start with a blank panel. So another important thing to know about adaptive components is I'm not really familiar with the mass environment, but I think this is only with adaptive components. I'm not sure of it. When you place a point on a reference line, this point gets a parameter that is according to this position on the line. You can see here that normalized curve parameter is set to 0, 7, 5 and so on. And if I change this for the maybe 0.5, it will put the point at the exact middle of this line. If I put 10, it will put this here, and it's measured from beginning or the end. So it won't displace the point. If I set beginning, it's 0.10 and it's 0.9. But if I make another point on this line, this is you have this one, that is 0.1 from the end. This one is 0.1 from the beginning, and both of them can have a parameter. And in the family, if I flex this parameter, those 2 points will move accordingly to this parameter. Thus, this is very helpful to make some parametric elements, because once you have a point here, I will put I will put one here and one here. I will set 2 maybe. Okay. This is 0.2 from the beginning, this is 0.2 from the end, and those two will have the same parameter. And now I can have a reference line between this point, and another one from here to here. And if I change this parameter, it's not working because I did something wrong. Again, 3D snapping. You need 3D snapping to get connected to the points. I think this is what I made wrong. And now if I click on 0.3, it moves accordingly. So this feature of making a point with a measurement according to the host is very helpful to make parameters, because I didn't say that earlier, but as these points are adaptive, you can't have constraint between those points. So the only way to make things flexing is to set points and move them by parameters. Another cool thing is to, if I set this here, make another reference line, and if I have another point here, this point could be driven by intersection. So if I hit this button and select this line, the point will remain at the intersection of the two lines. This one is broken maybe, but if I move this one, the point will follow. So this is also a cool behavior too. I will do it again. Let's try this. Okay, here, here. Sorry. Host point by intersection. Select the line, and now it will move by intersection. This is useful. Let me show you how I use this on this panel maybe. That. So as you can see, this point is driven by intersection. So if I move one of these lines and they are connected with the same parameter, or those points have the same parameter, the point at the intersection will move accordingly. And this is another curtain panel nested in the first one. Those are simple model lines. Hope it's clear for you. Maybe I will check the chat room. I didn't follow the I will try to understand what you are saying, guys. When you change the line, does the point's location parameter updates? Yes. Yes, absolutely. If I can show you again rapidly. In fact, it's a kind of instance parameter. If I move, look here, this is a parameter. If I make it 0.3, it moves. But if I move in the environment, it changes the parameter. It's not exactly the same way of working than in the standard family environment. And there's still some of the points that I am missing, and I'm not at the end of the process. Yes, too much chat to read. Yes, absolutely. A last thing I want to show you, if you start with the adaptive components, you may be aware of that, is that you can link reporting parameters with other parameters, even if it's not on the same geometry. I will start maybe a new one, not this one. A new generic model. I will place 2 points, adaptive, linked, and I will also make a small rectangle. Maybe it will be a square. I will put a parameter. What's wrong with that? Start again, maybe with the model. doing something wrong, maybe just a bit tired, I don't know. So I will just make a simple reference line to show you what I mean with the porting parameters. This one could have parameter A, okay? And as I said, you can make a dimension between 2 points, but you have to carefully take only the blue dot and this here and make a parameter that will be an instance reporting parameter. So if I move, okay, it changes. And now I can look if I did nothing wrong. The parameter, the length of this line could be linked to the reporting parameter. So if I move this here, the line will flex accordingly. So I guess this is one of the main point of adaptive components that is used very often by Zach Krohn on his blog to make flex some geometry when placing another point. So this is useful with arc, circles, and so on. Hope you get the meaning of this. Use this to make sliders. Yes, absolutely. This is once again, the credit is to Zach Krohn. I had to listen carefully to him on his vid to get this. But if you just make it again to show you the difference. If you don't select the blue dots but only the planes, for example, maybe this one, I'll try to select something that leads to something wrong. If I can, at this point, then I won't be able to do anything. This line, no, it's not working. Okay, do it again. So if I select the planes instead of the dots and make length, I think it's not working anymore. I'll see, it's working. But you may agree that this is a special behavior of adaptive components. It's not existing in the standard family environment. Now, maybe Carl, are you aware that there is a small add-in in Vasari project that puts parameter slider? Yeah, it will come. I'm confident it will come in Revit. Maybe I can just, what can I show you? Just a quick example of how this is once again a Zach Krohn example. If you divide it's already divided. Yes. You can apply some panels on a mass just as a standard panels and get some interesting results. Just maybe like this. Because once you have made a curtain panel that was used here, for example, if I change the type, duplicate and make this one maybe. Okay, here you have the curtain panel used for a railing, and here for this to simulate a structure. And if I choose another one for this part, here I make another one, a surface one, with something with the volume, cover. This is a model coming from Zach. Pretty awesome. And maybe once you're inside, look at the internal side. Here you are. This is an example coming from the blog of Zach in the next 2 weeks. So this is the use of adaptive curtain panel, mostly a standard use, and I wanted to show you some of maybe simple tricky use to start with very basic use of adaptive components. I checked for something else maybe just to show you. I use this also to make some mock-up of a strange column with such profile. If you load it in the project, you can place it maybe on face. I will have to set a reference plane. So this plane is here, and I can make it on this. How many points? Oh, just the profile, sorry. Just the profile of the component. Where is it? Okay, project. I can't find my family. Okay, here it is. The name is not correct, but you can see I use this adaptive component to make a mock-up of a framing structure. It's a bad one. Something is wrong with the family, but anyway, it's a way of playing around with adaptive components, and you can flex this after placing in your environment to adapt. If you have strange structures, you can flex it the way you want to simulate some strange framing. So I think we are done now. It's a bit late. Maybe I will spend a few minutes with you people. There's 12 attendees. Maybe we could take time, some minutes to understand some questions, maybe, if you have some. Clearly I think this is the future of Revit family creation, adaptive components. As I'm not a designer, I have not used them all day long, but I think you will, if you play around. Sorry. If you play around with this, you will find some good uses for those adaptive components. So any other? Oh, I'm not sure the chat room. Okay, see. My pleasure, guys. I hope you like this. It's maybe I haven't spent so much time to learn this. I listened and looked carefully to some nice video from Zach Chrome, and after that I started playing around with this for my purpose, just like this example with the framing, or the other one with the mock-up for the pipe. Just here, my project. Change the type, maybe. So it seems to be broken, but oh, I think making a window with adaptive component should be very, not maybe very easy, but mixing generic components and curtain panel in a family, I think your window will flex very easily. If you make just a quick mock-up with some of the elements I have, if you edit this, just copy that, make a new point here. Sorry. So I think you can you can make a window family. No, I didn't say that. You can nest an adaptive component in the standard family environment and reverse. If I start a new family, making don't know what can I, just a generic model, standard generic model with a standard environment, and if I get back in the model, just edit this family and load it in my new project here, you get an error message because generic model adaptive templates may only be loaded into project families loaded from mass generic model adaptive or pattern based. So you can't do everything you want, but I think the factory has to allow people to make more, to have more categories here, so that you can make. What's mainly missing is framing. You have columns, you have mass, and so on, but what's really missing is framing.